Hello. Good afternoon. This is Kevin Deveji, your host at American Business Podcast for the Next Generation, ABP. Today we are excited. We have Phil Vetrano with us from Helppedia, and he's the co-founder of the company, and we have a lot to discuss. The goal and purpose of our podcast is to share wisdom and insight with the next generation. And also we like next generation to get involved and follow our podcast so that with their help and support and their insight, we'll keep running our podcast to share the wisdom both ways. So today I'm with Phil Vetrano, as I mentioned. I'm excited to learn from him. He is very active in the educating next generation field, I must say. He's a leader in his field and he has a lot of insights. Phil, welcome.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. Wonderful podcast you have here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your support, and I'm happy that you join us on this beautiful Friday afternoon, right? So we can discuss our subject and we can share some insights, some wisdom with the next generation. Well, as a start, would you please, for our audience and our listeners, would you please introduce yourself and your company?
Sure. So my name is Philip Vetrano, and I'm an independent college and career coach. And my company is called Planning a Vision. I also do some business consulting on the side. I'm a business analyst through and through, but my analytical skills go across being an independent college and career coach. I'm utilizing the same skills I learned for the past 20 years in the world of IT and applying those skills to support the next generation and parents to help them navigate the college and career process. And so I started my company back in 2018. And in 2021, I started a nonprofit organization called Helppedia. And I saw how much support students need and how much support parents need to just navigate and be prepared for life and sharing knowledge with their teens and their students and their kids to really prepare them for life, because school doesn't cover all those necessary skills, and nor are you learning them at home. Generally, parents aren't teaching 40 hours a week the skills that they may have to their kids, and then the skills that they don't have, they're not addressing them. There's quite a bit of, there's over 25 skills that you need to make an informed decision, but not necessarily are they being taught. So I started I've co-founded with Lauren Lynn Mears, who's my co-founder, and we've gathered 33 community partners who provide services for youth development. And that's pretty much the core of Helppedia, is that we're like a concierge for education for the gaps that are not covered at school or home.
Thank you. Yes, very exciting and very important mission that your organization has. And yes, in addition to support the next generation, we cannot forget about parents, right? So that's very important. I'm glad you're also helping them as well, in addition to the students and next generation. How did you decide to choose your current career? What made you motivate to make that choice?
Yes. So in 2014, my son was in high school guidance counselor meeting. I was with him, with other parents, and the counselor said it's never too early to start planning for college. So I have a background in project management and business analysis. And so when I hear this activity, okay, it's not too early to start. Hey, I'm diving in head first, and I'm gathering as much information as I can to help my son accomplish his goals. And one of the goals that we established was we wanted to find a college where he would academically thrive and socially thrive, so that he could do exceptionally well and meet a lot of professors and students that were like-minded and or supporting in the subjects that requirements that he had as it relates to his education. So I spent 2.5 years diving into the analysis of data, and I saw that there was 25 skills that you needed to make an informed 12th grade decision of what you're going to do after. These kids do not have these necessary skills to do that. So that's why I started my business, to help parents and to help their teenagers to make better decisions. And through this podcast, you're going to hear the wisdom and insight that I have to help on this journey. And parents, say to me all the time, I wish I knew you when I was in high school, because I didn't have this know-how to do this activity. In fact, society generally says you have to figure this out by yourself. But I am an analyst. I kibosh that theory. You don't need to do this by yourself. You can have an incredible support team, a dream team surrounding you to support the activities that you're about to encounter and be exposed to what is really involved to do this the right way and to help you on your journey. Because if you're doing it by yourself and you've never done anything like this before, it is super difficult. There's not a lot of businesses that are running and working today if they didn't do something before to get that experience. It's like diving into the deep end and not knowing how to swim. That's not, that's nothing that we should be supporting and proposing to anyone. But yet we are in this mindset that the kids are adults and they're going to make their own decisions. Great, but let's give them the information to help them with this decision. The other challenge is your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So if I were to visit myself when I was 16 or 15, I would share this important information, because my understanding that, what am I going to do now, knowing that my brain's not going to be fully developed? I'm going to surround myself with people older than 25 to get the knowledge and cognitive skills, the reasoning, the rationale, the maturity that I need to make great decisions. So if you already have that knowledge and know-how, and now you're coming up with strategies, and we'll talk about those strategies to surround yourself with people that you really need to be connected to.
Yes, very exciting. Just like an advisory board, right? You surround yourself in a way. So that's exciting. And yes, your organization has an important mission, and you interact with many different students and parents and families. So in that view, what type of how would you describe the difficulties or challenges, I must say, or what type of what part of your job, more exciting, you will say, that gets you going every single day?
Yeah, it's working with the students directly to share and to uncover the blind spots that they have and share this wisdom with them. And what's really interesting is the words that I use, they understand. It's the strategies that I share with them that they're total blind spots. They didn't think of these things before because they didn't know. They've never done this before. And so now I'm providing them with so many options. And that's one of the key things that I'd like to share with parents and students is you have so many options. It's overwhelming how many options you have, but you don't discuss and find out what your options are. In order to find out what your options are, you've got to talk to a lot of people, because those people could open up doors for you, because it's what they know that could help you. But there's one thing that they have to do. The student has to communicate what it is that they're interested in learning more about, what they're interested in doing. What are they interested in learning about? Because that's the way you're going to open up doors. Because if you say nothing, who's going to give you options? You got to share what your interests are, what your passion is, because that adult on the other side, or that group of people who are surrounding you, could help you on your way for those activities. Whatever it is, whatever goals you have, other people can help you. Doing it by yourself is really hard, really difficult. So I'm an analyst. I like to squash these common, mythologies of expressions. And the expression I cannot cancel out, and it's totally true, it's who you know. And no matter what how I try to avoid that, there's no avoiding it. Somebody's going to hire me. Someone's going to pay me. Someone's going to be my client. I have to get to know a lot of people. If I don't know a lot of people, I'm not going to get hired. I'm not going to know my options. So it's really a no-win situation. Now, what do they teach you in high school? Don't talk to strangers. Kindergarten, what do they tell you? Don't talk to strangers. You are losing out on your options. So let me share with you this new expression. Talk to as many professionals as you can. And now with the virtual world, you can talk to anyone virtually, any professional virtually. And your parents won't know how to do this. Why? Because they didn't go to school to learn how to network. They didn't learn how to meet people, how to make friends. There's no classes to how to make friends. There's no classes on networking. You've
True.
got to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing and provide you with incredible insights. But the goal, you have to know people in order to know what your options are. Yes, you can go online and see what your options are and spend all that time. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to meet somebody to make it happen. And because someone's going to interview you. You just
Yes.
can't get a job by just, applying to a job and hoping that you're going to get that salaried offering in an email to say, welcome aboard. Here's your start
Yes.
and there's your pay. No. You've got to meet people. You got to talk to people. You got to learn
True.
those skills.
The
So
process. Yeah.
thank you for asking that question of the challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great insights. Much appreciated. And that's very exciting. Interacting with as many professionals as possible, learning from them as much as possible. Very important. And it's great to hear it from you and get the insights. And our life is changing. It is because AI is coming in, and AI is becoming parts of our lives in different senses, different ways. This is still the early age. AI is not new. I went to an event before education event. They were talking about the history of AI. It goes all the way back to 1950s. However, nowadays it's more accessible, it's more affordable, it's more practical. So now it's in our life. Speaking of the next generation, so what is your take on AI? How our lives will change? What type of impact we will see of AI moving forward?
Yeah, so AI can be incredibly powerful in the world of education, and it is a game changer. The question for the students and the parents is that what side of the coin is the school on? Are they empowered to take on this activity and go through a trial and error perspective to determine how this is going to work in their school? Or are they saying, or are they pushing back? No, there's no AI in our schools. We're not going to utilize AI in our schools because this is against our rules of utilizing technology to help you with your tests, with your essays, with everything that they assign you. AI could be a leverage tool to use to help you accomplish the questions. But they're against it because you're not necessarily learning if you're just asking the question. Like if they're asking, what's the economy like right now? And then you put that in the question in AI, and then you just copy and paste. That's too easy. And are you really learning? You don't even have to read it, which is not good, right? So there's a
Yes.
education component, and you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want to accomplish? So am I in classes that I don't really am interested in? I may never use in my life. And so AI has the ability to, if educators and administrators are really taking this on and saying, we can do an incredible service to not only the students, but to the parents, to the community, because now we're going to create expertise at the individual level. Imagine the school is focused on individuals. Are you kidding me? No. We're old school. It's 30 people in a classroom. You're all going to learn the same exact thing in the same amount of way. No. AI could change all that. The question is that teachers, are they able to adapt to be an AI advisor to understand and to be guidance of here's Here's the information that you're interested in, whatever that is. You're interested in the video game industry. There's generally no video game industry class that you'll be taking in high school. However, it can be adapted to, to fulfill your history requirement, we'd like you to know everything and understand the video game history. And we will be testing you on this. Why? Because AI has the ability to create tests based on the reading that you've done. So, oh my goodness. Now, the question is, why is that important? Oh, did you say you wanted to go into the video game industry? Well, guess what? It's valuable information if you're in front of the people who are interviewing you, that you understand how they got here and where it's going. So AI could be a huge game changer. And that's just one little example of how educators could use AI to customize and tailor, which is not in this is not in their dictionary. Customizing, personalizing, and tailoring education for each student. That's why homeschooling is very attractive, because you can build the own curriculum for your children and you can execute it based on their interest and eager to learn. And you can connect them with professionals who do this for a living. And there's an incredible amount of collaboration that can happen between a professional and a student who is mentored. So AI can be the start of the conversation to improve your education system, but it requires educational leaders to be adaptive and accepting. But what the goal is for high school is to get a high school degree. What does that have to do with anything about your career?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And so congratulations, they're all focused on you getting a high school degree. Their cookie cutter curriculum. It doesn't have to be that way. And that can be the future if the people in charge start doing what's best. Let me say that again. Doing what's best for each student, not what's best, what they think is best, to educate students on this cookie cutter physics, biology, chemistry, which they may never use in their life. It's not practical, and it's not bringing any value to the student when they're not interested in a particular class. This AI can kibosh the mindset of just going through cattle, of going through these 4 years of most of their core classes without the level of interest and eagerness. If schools had 100% students thriving, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The question is, do they want to improve? This is how you improve.
Yes, I think, that brings my follow-up question. So, keeping these insights in mind, so what are your predictions, moving forward this year, next year, in terms of job market, economy, how the next generation will see this, and how it's going to be their experience in your point of view?
Yeah, so for the students, the next generation, the job market, your goal is to have as many skills that you enjoy that is valuable in the workforce. So critical thinking is an important skill. If you don't have those critical thinking skills, that's okay. Know a lot of people with critical thinking skills so you can tag them when you need them to fully understand the opportunities that are presented to you, because you're going to face a variety of problems in your workforce. And the question is, are you providing any value? Are you troubleshooting? Are you helping solve those problems? And you want to be helpful. And anywhere you work, if you're not helping somebody, you are probably not going to do well in the workforce. The other thing is you have to adapt. You can't just specifically focus on one skill, because that skill can go away. So for example, writing. Oh my goodness. I've spoken to English teachers. Between 5% to 15% of students enjoy writing. Okay, so the people who know how to write, they are wonderfully in a great position because they're in the world of communication, they're in the world of marketing, and they're able to modify the language, they're authors. I mean, and there's a lot of writing. Now, AI can write for you, correct your grammar, and now we have 85% of the population who could use AI and now improve their writing. And they don't need somebody. And so now they are less, now their question is, how are they going to do well in this particular economy? So the more skills that they have that they can apply to, this is something that's important for the job market. So the job market is hard because you have to position yourself in a way that you're a subject matter expert in something. So that's why I was talking about the video game industry. If whatever
Yes.
industry it is, there's thousands of industries, there's hundreds of thousands of different jobs. The question is, what is your expertise? You've got to focus on this. This is really important. Even the colleges, they want experts on their campus.
Mhm.
If you are an expert in a particular area, obviously if you're niche, which means that not many students know and understand networking. If
Yes.
you are an expert in networking and ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and you are actually networking in high school, you have an unbelievable advantage. Let me say that again, a huge advantage. Why? Because the other students aren't learning networking. You've just carved out a niche for yourself to impress admissions folks and your future employers because now you are well connected with lots of professionals. But the question is, do you know how to do that? And that's the learning that you'll be doing either with me, with Kevin, or others who
Yes.
are mentoring you and supporting you to help you with this networking activity. Because once you have that ability, you will have options galore. You will know more people. You will be able to solve more problems because you know more people. And it's personal and professional where you can lean on them to help them, whatever the challenges or the folks are needing, you'll know somebody.
Absolutely. Networking, networking, networking. That is, I think, bottom line, very important. Also, you mentioned about preparation and preparing for next generation to prepare themselves for their future career path. What is your take on internship and apprenticeship programs?
Yeah, so apprenticeship programs don't get enough publicity. They don't get a lot of conversations, even in guidance counselor offices. They're really, high schools push you to go to college, whether you're ready or not, whether you have the skills necessary or possible. The stats are really sad. 62% of students who go to college will graduate in 6 years. That means 38% are not. The other sad part is only 42% of students are graduating in 4 years, which means that it's a really expensive decision that you're making and your likelihood is reduced. And they have not set you up for success. So if your goal is to be set up for success for college so that you can improve, so my son was able to graduate with all the degrees in 3 years. Why? Because we planned ahead and we got in front of it to be proactive to know which college would be a great fit and accept his credits from high school because he earned a lot of credits in high school. Why? Because he planned ahead and he saved mom and dad a lot of money because he did this activity. So preparation is important. Apprenticeships don't get enough publicity, but imagine you are working for a company and they're training you in the craft that you're doing. Isn't that wonderful? Instead of paying a college up to $90,000 a year to learn academic subjects, which you may not even get a hands-on experience with some of the learning that you're doing, and you are learning a lot of theory, but may not be actually applying them, depending on the curriculum and things like that. But it is something to consider. And that's the thing is, do you know what your options are? Do you know what your interests are? If I just said there's over 10,000 jobs, how are you going to narrow that down? Well, I have a methodology to help with that process, which doesn't take a lot of time. You would think it would take a lot of time, but when you have a methodology to go by that no one has ever shown you how to do, it really helps and saves time. And this is what every student, and this is the other thing, is the agenda of the schools. It's cookie cutter, it's go through the curriculum. Has nothing to do with helping you find out what your interests are. Isn't that the saddest thing? No, here's the list of 40 subjects that you could choose from our school, and 4 of them are English, 4 of them are history, 2 of them are, in all these sciences, but there's not a lot of other subjects that are offered. And so how do you know what you're going to like? So I have a methodology to do that. So apprenticeship programs, there's even one for Gucci. Gucci has an apprenticeship program. Who knew that Gucci would have an apprenticeship?
Yes, who knew? That's true.
Yeah. So this is an example of, and especially the trades. They want you to be. They're having a hard time finding, young people, high school graduate students who graduate high school and college graduates to join their apprenticeship programs. So there is absolutely an opportunity there, and that's just one example of knowing your options, because there's hundreds of apprenticeship programs.
Absolutely. So, so this is my last and final question. And as we discussed before the podcast, this is $1 million question in a way. And some part of it, most part of it, you answer it, but let's share it with the next generation and our viewers all together. What are your suggestions for the next generation workforce, next generation leaders, when they are choosing their career path and furthering their career path? That's a serious decision. It has steps, but just to put it together in one section as part of my question, what are your suggestions for the next generation when they are choosing their career path and furthering it?
Yeah. So I will share with you, 80% of adults are generally not happy with the career that they selected. 80%. And why is that? Because they didn't explore early in their life to determine what it is that they're passionate about. Can they have found something that they were passionate about and be paid for it? This is something that most adults don't go through. Next generation, you have an opportunity to get ahead of this. You have 8 years of your life to explore a variety of different careers. However, they didn't teach you how to explore careers. And so this is your blind spot. This is your disadvantage. So how are you going to learn how to explore careers? You're going to talk to people like me. You're going to talk to people like Kevin to help you with identifying what subjects, what topics do you get excited about that you want to be an expert in. Going through that list is really important, because you could always go back to that list when you've discovered, and I can't tell you the stories about students going to college thinking, having ideas that they really like this subject, but they really haven't done their diligence and homework to really understand what they were signing up to. So they have visions of psychology, they have visions of accounting, and they start, and then they can't finish. They don't like it. Why? Because they didn't know what they were signing up to. So my wisdom to you is exploring different topics, start digging in, seeing if you like it. If you don't like to read that 25 chapter textbook about a topic, you don't have to. But guess what? Not knowing what that 25 subject textbook is about and only signing up to the class on freshman year and opening that book and saying, this is not for me, that's not a good time to find out. So there's ways to get, and this is the key. In high school, they don't teach you how to be proactive for your life preparation. And so this is how you can be proactive, is to start learning, start connecting with professionals and learning about the subjects that you are interested in, because then you're surrounding yourself with people who are experts in these subjects that you can go to be mentors, because you don't know how much power you have. Here's wisdom for next generation. You have power. You can talk to any professional, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Phil. I'm a 10th grader and I'm interested in engineering. That adult, if they know how to network, will not just answer the question about what they know about engineering, but they'll introduce you to engineers. And now the first day of your life for career has just started. And the question is, how intrigued are you when you meet with engineers? Do you admire the work that they're doing? Do you like the work they're doing? And you're asking a lot of questions, and they're going to tell you. And what's interesting is adults will just take over and just dump information on your lap. And you don't have to say a word if you don't have questions. And that's the other thing I've noticed with next generation. They're not very inquisitive and curious about careers. It's about their future. They've never done this before. I'd rather be doing something else. That's what they're saying to themselves. Now, you tell me otherwise. Please tell me. I started planning for my future in 9th grade. I'd love to hear that. And I'd be so impressed. I admire you for doing that, because you are unique. And guess what? You have a huge advantage over all the students who haven't started yet.
Phil, it's been a pleasure. Can you believe it's been 30 minutes? I think we can go for hours. This conversation is great. And I know it's very insightful for next generation, for our followers and listeners as well. I truly appreciate it. So before we end it, how our listeners and followers can get in touch with you and your organization?
Excellent. So I have a website. It's called planningandvision.com. And you could book an appointment with me. Be happy to speak with you for a half hour to see how I can help you accomplish your goals and dreams. And that's and you could also email me at Phil, PHIL, at planningandvision.com.
Thank you very much, Phil. And we'll definitely have a follow-up conversation with the next generation as we discuss. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. And to our listeners and our followers, thank you very much for your interest and for your support. We are looking forward to having you at our next podcast session. Thank you very much and have a nice day.